okay, this is my first time having non-standard fighting video game characters. Because I went with video game because I don't read manga. I'm a white male well beyond the age of 30. It's not quite geared towards me. I'm not going to read the Archie stuff either. It's also a new system, too. So I'm trying this out with Proto Man versus Knuckles. Proto Man introduced in Mega Man 3 is essentially the, well, chronologically he'd be the older brother, he's the younger brother of Mega Man due to the fact that he's Proto Man, he is the prototype. He is the initial version that had a bunch of flaws and later was kind of repurposed design-wise into become Mega Man. But he's considered the younger brother because of where he falls in the lineage of robotics. Older brother from a human standpoint because he existed for a longer period of time. He's introduced in Mega Man 3. You see him in a couple stages, you fight him a little bit, he's pretty much known for hopping him and triple jump and having a shield. He later becomes playable in some of the other Mega Man games. I think it's 9 and 10. So in much more of the later Mega Man games you get to play as him. He's different. When he hits the playable standpoint, he actually has less shots. He gets off 2 instead of 3. He has a charge shot just like Mega Man does. He has the shield, which allows him to be better, and when he gets hit, he takes more damage. Because he has a bunch of other small issues when it comes just the way his body type is designed. On the side, you have Knuckles. Knuckles introduced, of course, in Sonic and Knuckles. Some people call that Sonic 3, technically it's not. Sonic and Knuckles had backwards compatibility, where you actually had to plug your other cards into play it, and essentially kind of DLC him into other games. He was an Echidna. Looks nothing really like the Echidna that you normally see. He was one of those funky, fresh, hip characters, known for having, well, jagged knuckles on his fists along the climb up walls, as well as dreadlocks that allowed him to fly. Because the dreadlocks, as they would fan out, would give him enough space to glide. But in a series that actually gave you an immortal fox with 2 tails. As a sidekick, makes sense. Now, since these two guys aren't traditionally in fighting games, I had to entirely redo how I do my normal criteria, because I can't do fighting ability, because technically I don't have it. I really can't do like durability and invulnerability as 2 separate things. Because when you look at them, if you say you pick up Mario with the mushrooms, 2 shots before he's dead. Okay, how would that compare against, we'll say, Sonic? Sonic, 1 hit he's dead unless he has rings. If he has rings, he gets 2 hits. But you can re-grab rings. You can re-grab a mushroom. But they're randomly spread out throughout the area. So I had to kind of do this differently. So I have intelligence. That has to do with the overall intelligence of the character. So if you're a character who has onboard computing, or if your character's a genius. Strength. Pretty standard. Speed. Pretty standard. I went with defense instead of vulnerability and durability. Because, in certain games, like Mega Man, for example, you have a life bar. Sonic series, not really. You've got 1 shot if you have no rings, 2 shots if you have rings. So I really couldn't try to do those quite that way. Range. So this is, how good is your character when it comes to distance? Versatility. How unique and how varied is your character's moves? And X Factor. So you're into this. Intelligence. Knuckles, anthropomorphic Echidna, is the lone survivor of his people. I had to compare that versus the very first style of fully free-thinking, conscious AI. I was like, I think I'm probably going to give the fully conscious AI a slight advantage. If anything else, it's going to have a higher amount of processing speed. Strength. Knuckles actually has super strength. That's one of the reasons why he can use his claws and actually climb up walls. Speed. Yeah, pretty much everyone in the Sonic game has the ability to go into a nice spin dash move. So, a tremendous amount of speed. Defense. This one I kind of went back and forth with. Proto Man, he has the shield. The shield allows him to take a tremendous amount of damage to it. But he takes more damage when he gets hit. So on Proto Man, when it comes to Knuckles, if he goes into the spin dash, he has a moment of invulnerability. but he only really get hit once to twice. And then I went, well, with Proto Man, if he jumps into him, he's going to take damage. With Knuckles, he jumps into enemies that deal damage. And I was like, yeah. Part of me still wants to give it to Proto Man. If nothing else, you're looking at a character who does have a shield. The shield's allow him to take a couple of good stiff shots from Knuckles before anything happens. They're at range. Well, Knuckles doesn't have range, where Proto Man actually is, he's shooting. He actually has an arm cannon. Yeah, he can either do a double shot or a three-way shot, but he still has a projectile attack. Versatility. Yes, Proto Man does have the ability to gain other abilities from Robot Masters, but unless I preload him with abilities, which should be kind of wrong, I have to actually go to Knuckles. Knuckles has the ability, of course, to climb walls, the ability to glide, the super speed, the small moments of vulnerability. So, versatility, he's got a lot more moves to him. Then, of course, it comes down to X Factor. And I'll say, what is that one last little bit? And I was like, Proto Man, he's got a ranged attack. He has the ability to do a dash with his shield. He has the ability to do a slide. That shield's going to give him a tremendous amount of advantage. Because Knuckles is going to have to either hit him hard, which his shield's going to come into play, because he's just going to block with the shield until you get off 1 to 2 shots, would be enough to incapacitate Knuckles, versus Knuckles' ability to hit very hard and to jump into him and deal damage. And initially, I had scored this to Proto Man, until I read a lot more of his backstory. Now, I'm looking at these characters pretty much from their initial concepts. So I'm looking at what Proto Man can do kind of in Mega Man 3. When he was playable, he had the Mega Buster, which he didn't have at that time, but he would have had the slide, which Mega Man had in Mega Man 3. So I'm okay with saying he's got a slide, he's got a shield. If he slid with the shield, it would make sense that he could do a dash with it. I'm not giving him a Mega Blaster. I'm not giving him any of his more powerful finishing moves that he gets in later games. But then I read, when he's playable, he takes double damage. He's a little bit slower. He gets off 2 shots instead of 3, instead of a triple burst. So he's technically a weaker version of Mega Man with a shield. Knuckles, on the other hand, is, at the very least, the equivalent, if not slightly stronger, than Sonic the Hedgehog. So to finally came down to it, you got a character who's a little bit stronger version of your primary character versus the lower, weaker version of the main protagonist. So in Proto Man Knuckles, I have to give the X Factor to Knuckles. If anything else, I'm looking at if they do a clash in midair, Knuckles deals damage while jumping at an opponent. With the speed advantage, it's going to be a projectile burst. It's not going to be a lot of projectiles. Mega Man can do a triple burst. You're looking at Proto Man has the ability to do a double burst or the triple shot, which is something that when you look at the Sonic characters, and Knuckles specifically, they have the ability to dodge projectiles pretty easily, given their super speed and the super strength. We're looking at a couple of good shots, and Proto Man's going to go down. Proto Man's going to have to hide behind his shield and stay ranged the whole time. But range against an opponent with super speed and super strength, who can fly, well, can glide. And if they were to collide in midair, it's going to damage you. It's definitely going to give Knuckles an edge. So Proto Man, Knuckles, I actually give the edge to Knuckles. Had this been maybe Sonic and Mega Man, probably a different outcome. But there's my thoughts. It's my first time doing one of these, so the system work using intelligence, strength, speed, defense, range, versatility, and X Factor. Did that work? Should I do some other tweaks to it? I will probably try to do another one next week. I've got one mapped out using the current system, and then it's Mega Man versus Samus. I'll be looking at them from their classic NES standpoints, not their Super Nintendo standpoints.